What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel here from the GeekSpeakNation channel, and I'm here to bring you my review of The Old Guard. So, The Old Guard is a Netflix original film that's produced by Charlize Theron, and it is about a group of immortal beings who, throughout history, have become soldiers and like mercenaries slash heroes for hire, and now someone has discovered their secret about their existence and is threatening to capture all of them as a new immortal awakens. And God, I didn't like this movie at all. I didn't like this movie. Here's the thing, right? I don't want to be mean, all right? Whenever no one goes out to make a bad movie, okay? And a lot of people put in a lot of hard work into making this film happen, and they got, not only did they make a film, but they got it released, which is a miracle. You know how hard it is to make a movie? And, you know, all films are subjective, all right? So even though I didn't find any entertainment value out of this film, doesn't mean that you watching this won't just absolutely adore this film. But with that being said, I did not like this movie at all whatsoever. It was rough. It was rough to get through. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic about it, about like, oh, there was nothing redeemable about the film. But legitimately, it felt like a very, very cliched action romp of a film where you had the group of people, they get burned on their first mission, someone might be betraying them, all that stuff. And it was just, it felt so slow and cliche with everything it was doing, whether it was, you know, the oldest one who's like the mentor being Charlize Theron is hardened in her heart, but then this new recruit opens her up again to care about the world and remember who she was and all this stuff, yada yada yada. It's just like so many cliches, and on top of that, the action is it's so close to being enjoyable, but it's not quite there. Some of the actors just don't have the physicality to be able to pull it off. Like Charlize Theron does great, and a lot of other female casts do great, but some of the dudes just don't sell any of the action or any of the punches, and they try to cut around it, and they make it very quick pace with some of the cuts, but then they'll interchange it with long shots and try to make it look like John Wick with some of the wide shots and all this jazz, and it just didn't work, and it felt disconjointed and discombobulated. Oh, it was a mess. It was a mess. It was a mess, and it was just so hard to enjoy that. It's just it's just so cliched. It was just so cliched in every way. And that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy a film, that, you know, it's kind of a B movie, you know, it's not taking itself too seriously and all that sort of stuff. But the problem is there's such an inconsistency in tone with this film. And parts of it, it wants to be this philosophical theologian, you know, a diatribe about religion and analyzing what does it mean to be human and what does it mean to live and what is life without death and all this stuff. But at the same time, it's undercut by like this, you know, the schlocky espionage, big pharma is very bad, and all the world governments control corruption and all this stuff, yada yada yada. It's just very discombobulated. It's very disjointed, and I know I'm really not saying much about this film because there really isn't much to say about it. This film is very brief in what actually happens. They get burned, where they figure out that there's a bad guy who knows about their existence within the first 10 minutes. They go to rendezvous and regroup. The regrouping goes wrong as they get the new recruit, and then the new recruit has to come in and help save everyone in the end. And there's no consequences for all the betrayal that happens. And it was just so silly. It was just so silly. I just don't know. I just don't know. And all the licensed music that they used did not fit in any of the scenes at all whatsoever. I'm normally more like organized with my thoughts when it comes to reviews, but this film, it just took me aback, and I was like, I just finished it about an hour ago, and I was like, I just gotta sit down and just talk about this. I was like, man, this is a movie. This is a movie that I watched. And and I think the number one thing about it was there was so much potential in the film, because the setup, the idea of it is really cool. You know, I think it even actually make probably a better TV show. You know, this idea of all these immortal beings, kind of like the scene in X-Men Origins Wolverine, where, you know, Sabretooth and Wolverine are fighting all throughout all the wars in history and all that stuff. That's a cool thing, but that's like the whole movie, and that's like who these people are and what they've always done. That's very, very interesting, but the execution is just no, it's not there. It's not there. Despite the very little that happens in this film, most of it is spent having character development conversations that are out of place. Like the new recruit, we find out about her family and like what she's leaving behind and all that stuff, and how it makes her feel towards the end of the film, where it's like that doesn't quite make sense when we should probably be hearing from Charlize Theron's character as she's approaching this final climax, this final act. And the villain, it's just this movie was so all over the place, man. It was so all over the place. I'm losing my mind. Man, jeez, Louise, it was just all over the place. And like I was saying, the licensed music was just, it just did not fit at all. It was laughable. My mother and I were watching this film, and we were just laughing at the film because of where this licensed music was placed. It was like a record label gave them money. It was like, hey, look, we'll pay some of these loans that you took out to make this film if you put in like 16 licensed tracks of ours that we all own and all sound the same and will not fit your movie at any time. Yeah, this movie was I didn't like it, but I could see there being an audience for this film that's just like, look, I want to turn my brain off, I want to have some wine or have some friends over, social distancing, and we just turn off our brains and watch a movie. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all, but it's just, even in that regard, I couldn't even find the film that entertaining. Microphone, please stay. In that regard, and I was just, wow, that was rough. That was a rough watch, and it was number one on Netflix. It was number one on Netflix. Jesus, Extraction was a better film. I just don't get it. I just don't get it at all. And like I said, I'm not trying to do this to be mean. I'm genuinely just flabbergasted by how much I was just like, none of this film is working for me, for the acting, and some people like Chiwetel Ejiofor are taking it way too seriously. Like, you thought he was about to like try to go for an Oscar the way he was. my wife, I was like, whoa, bro, you're the C movie at best. Calm it down there, buddy. It is just, some of the acting is just so melodramatic and all over the place, and it's just terrible. Not good. It's just, the action's not good either. What a squandered premise, and then the ending is sequel bait that I saw coming from 10,000 miles away, blindfolded. So I don't want them to make a sequel. If anything, you know what? I want them to make a TV show out of this, so they can take their time to properly develop these characters, and we can get to know them, and you can tell a more engaging, more thought out story that doesn't feel so rushed. You know, that's what I want out of this. That's the silver lining, right? That is the silver lining. That is the hope I have, but probably not. It's probably not going to happen. They're probably just going to make a second one, and yeah. It's not that I didn't like any of the people involved or the actors or anything like that. I think they were fine. It was just not well written, not very well directed in the terms of action, and not very well edited at all. And I don't even know if this is a review. This is more of a rant. The Old Guard. You might like it, you might not. That's my review. Yeah, man. Let me know what you thought about this film in the comment sections down below. Maybe I'm overreacting. Nah. Or maybe you really enjoyed this film, and that's fine. All films are subjective. Help me see what I am not seeing in this film, because it just did not work for me. And also, while you're down there, guys, if you enjoyed this, whatever it was, hit that like button, and if you're new here, subscribe to become a part of the GeekSpeakNation channel. And also, while you're down there, if you have just subscribed, make sure you do hit that bell icon and set it to all so you always get notified of when I post the video. And if all things are going according to plan, either today or it has already happened, but we are playing Ghost of Tsushima live on Twitch, and you should definitely be checking that out, because it is going to be set up so dope. Set up. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Daniel. Man, that was a movie. And don't forget to get geeky.